Good morning, Bill.
Good morning, Bill. How are you?
Great. I want to know how was the show last night?
The show was pretty epic. The show was
Yeah.
pretty epic. Yeah, it's pretty great.
So you saw 311
I
on
did.
a
hmm
simulcast, right?
Yeah, they've got this. So they have their own studio. So they just go in there and they've got a room all done up with nice lights and everything else like this. They go in there and they've got GoPros all around the room and different cameras, and they just cut. And what they've been doing is to try to make it special, to try to pay for the crew, right? The roadies, the crew, and everything else. Is they're doing these live streams because the musicians are making money, right? The crew is not. So they've been doing these albums and they'll play them just front to back, just like straight through, which is cool because normally when you go to a concert, it's a mixed set. So
Right.
um, 311 fans are pretty hardcore, so they love the straight through kind of deal because they're definitely kind of an album band. So
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome.
thank
Well,
you. Yeah, it was a nice cap to the evening.
yeah, I was jealous. I was like, man, I wish one of my favorite bands was doing that.
They're doing two more actually. They're doing two more. So at that point, it'll be six albums played front to back to generate money for the group. Last night there were 7.2 thousand people on this live stream. Right, so 7,200 people paid $20 to watch this, 3 hour live stream kind of like deal.
Yeah.
It's pretty dope.
Yeah. Yeah. Or more, right? Because there were options more than $20.
That's true. That's exactly true. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's good. That's good money.
Yeah.
Very cool. Awesome. Well, I was thinking about it last night about 8 o'clock or so. I was like, man, I bet he's doing that right now.
No, it was really cool. It was really cool. Nice kind of cap to the day. I got a pretty big, not like a big no, but I got a no, and it kind of made me mad yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, I asked a friend of, or I'm sorry, someone who I thought was a friend of mine, to read the book and to, if they were open to it, to give me a blurb, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they said no. And I'm like, okay, right. I got a little bit heated due to some entitlement, right?
Yeah.
But then I realized the thing that I was mad about was not that like he told me no. Like I don't have a problem with that. I feel like he's not doing a great job of nurturing his I guess community, right? Because like he's put a whole bunch of people together and we all like hanging out and stuff like this, but a lot of people are feeling kind of disconnected. So
okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, it's tough. And I know. So there's specific. It's funny. Okay, let me start that over. That's the some of the people that we look up to slash follow around slash interact with are pretty hardcore around the concepts that they are into.
Mhm.
Like James Clear, for example, is one I follow around, and he's not someone that is just going to break stride because he just feels like it one day, that sort of stuff. And so when those particular people, you get to interact with them, they're actually what they are on camera, if you will. And you're like, hey, but aren't we supposed to like do something and hang out and blah blah blah? I'm like, well, no, I go to bed at 7:45. Oh, okay.
No,
then she go to bed at 7:45. Well, yeah, that's my life. It's like,
yeah. No, I get it, right? Like you're totally allowed to tell me no, you don't actually owe me anything. So,
no, I know. I know. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying like that. I find it surprising when I get around people that I've always kind of been following around, and they're exactly who they say they are, because just people don't always do that.
Yeah, I'm just kind of relieved, I think, whenever that happens.
Yeah, but I think there's probably some people that I from afar admire, but if I were to actually meet them in person, I'd be like, really? I thought this was like a bit.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
Yeah, because it's like, no, actually, I only have 6 things that I do in life, and if you're not one of the 6, then you're not on my list. No offense, but it's like, oh, okay.
No, here's the deal. Like he's totally allowed to tell me no. Like he does not actually owe me anything. But as these people build these communities in these different platforms, Slack and Discord and everything else like this, there's this kind of like initial push, right? And everybody hops on, right? Everybody hops in there. Great, great, great. A lot of people fall out, and then you kind of develop some key people who help you kind of like build your community and help build it forward. Because eventually, at some point, if you're moving and doing other stuff, like the community's got to be big enough that it can roll without you, right? There's got to be knowledge exchanged and information and stuff like this. And that has to be able to kind of go on without you, or else it just kind of dies on the vine, or you spend too much time into this and you don't get anything else done. The other side of that, though, is you're building a community for a reason. What's that reason? Is it just that way you have a very easy time to promote your stuff to people, or is it because they're working on cool stuff and you want to be part of it? I think, so.
Yeah. And
anyway,
how you sell in matters too, because like if one of the ways that you sell in people to the group is the fact that they get access to you, then that's
absolutely,
that's a thing, right?
So the thing that I was mad at was that I was wrong about what my view of the relationship was.
Okay.
So like I was like, oh man, why am I mad about this now? This is odd. And then like I was like, okay, well, I have some entitlement. So what happens if I put that down? Now I'm just mad that my view of the relationship was so far off. Okay, great. New filter instated. Plans changed a little bit.
Yeah.
And now we're going.
Good.
Clarity comes from it. So
good. I love it. That's powerful stuff. Put down the entitlement or the ego, and then what's left. I like that thought process.
I mean, it's so funny. Like I was mad. I went to someone in this little community that I'm trying to build, I guess, on Discord, and he immediately was like, okay, and just immediately just like talked me out of the entitlement. He goes, why would this person even care about you? Mm-hmm. And I was like, well, and he goes, okay, and I was like, man, you're being a little harsh. And he goes, man, if this guy is who you say he is, like, this is probably just like how he thinks. I'm like, yeah, okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, yep. And there's a level of, I'm too busy, and I'm not taking anything else on, no matter who it is, sort of mentality that comes with certain people too.
Mm-hmm.
So I categorize, some of the people we follow that way,
and
they're successful too, right?
You're allowed to do whatever you want with your time, right?
Yeah.
For sure. But I don't know. I don't think anybody likes to be like opted out against, right? So like I'd rather receive like the whole like blanket, hey, I'm not doing any podcast episodes for the next 6 months. Okay, great. But then don't tell me that, and then I see you on like 7 other ones.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Anyway.
Yeah.
Let's talk about anything else. It's Friday, bro. We're not talking about this.
Sorry. Yeah.
That was yesterday's news. Why are you bringing up old stuff?
Why are you bringing up old stuff?
Man. So for the audience, after we ended the show yesterday, I got to talk for just a second to Jake's dad, and it made my day. It was the highlight of the day. I thought about it multiple times throughout the day. It was an amazingly pleasant experience. I highly recommend it. Probably not going to get it. That's okay. I'm a lucky guy.
Well, he was flattered because he's an introvert like you, and has not spent hours and hours and hours and hours and hours and hours trying to disguise the fact that he's an introvert. So you're right. It's not something he just hops online anymore and talks to people. But yeah, it was cool. It was fun. It's fun to be able to get to share.
Man, he lit a fire under me, right? Because okay, so actually, is it cool if I share this? Are you okay with this? Yes.
Okay,
cool.
He's observing. When I'm here on the show, a lot of times he sits in the room and listens. So
okay, so the nugget that I got yesterday from Mr. Jordan was because he wrote a book and he never published it. Was the thing that we were talking about yesterday, and the thing that I love is he goes, it was a vision and not a goal. And I said, what is the difference between these two things? And he goes, a vision is something you do because you enjoy the work. regardless of the outcome. A goal is outcome driven. And I'm like, ooh. And then he goes on to say that the book was really about like spending more time with Jake, figuring out how to do this thing, and also testing himself, because he normally writes in one kind of fashion, and this was a bit of a stretch, and that's okay, right? And has no remorse at all about not publishing his book. And I'm sitting here in the chair and I'm having this kind of like very cool moment of like realizing that like it's super cool that it worked out his way, and like that's cool about the vision and the goal. But mine's a goal. Right? Like let's go. So thank you, Mr. Jordan, for doing that for me. I appreciate that. This dang thing will be read by Sunday. And so we have some concrete next steps, and I've got some double accountability from my head of content, Melissa, and Carrie, who's been helping me out, who's just been taking me to task. And it's been a strong, interesting week. I think I had my first Zoom snafu yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, so were you the snafu, or were you on it when there was a snafu?
I was on it when there was a snafu.
Okay. Doesn't look like a good one.
No, not so much.
Well, do share.
So, God, how do I even talk about this? I believe in the course of an hour-long group Zoom call that I was on, I believe I saw a fellow get up, have to go to the restroom 3 times in an hour-long call. And it's like, hold on, let me point in the right direction. It's like right there.
Okay.
And the door was just kind of open. Now, nothing was seen, but the movements associated with what you could see could not be construed in any other way.
Okay.
So.
Oh, man. Did anybody say anything in chat? Or
No. And so now, I'm not sure I saw what I saw. Right? Because I asked someone, I said, hey, did you see this?
Uh-huh.
And they were like, no, I did not see that. And I was like, okay. Like,
if a tree falls in the forest.
Exactly. That's kind of where I'm at. Because, man, I wish I could do this on the camera, but you could just see part of the body. Okay. And I did the reenactment for Melissa yesterday. Would you like to see it this morning? It's weird. Okay, hold on.
Okay.
All right. So a little bit behind the scenes here. I've got this little curtain that separates.
Okay. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Right. So this is what it was like. Right. There's this thing here. Right. I can't believe I'm doing this on the show. All right. So this is what happens. He gets up. He walks back here. Okay. Let me shut this a little bit. Right. So this is like this. Right. First time. Okay. First time. Second time. Okay. Second time.
Oh no. Oh no. No.
And the third time was like the first.
No. Man. What I want to know is, was there a symphony along with the viewing party?
There were no sounds attached.
Okay. Well, either he's trying to be really funny and go viral somewhere, or that was a thing. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how else to.
I mean, we've heard of Zoom fatigue. We've heard of, is there a thing going on now where people are getting so comfortable with Zoom on that it's like they forget it's on. It's just like part of their life now, so they just walk off and do their normal stuff.
I don't know. Maybe that's really interesting. I think that the other thing is that this guy is a bachelor and just doesn't have strong habits tied to closing the door.
Could be. Yeah. Or I think of like any number of situations where people just don't hide the bathroom from their household. You know, it's like maybe it's one of those things. So
that was the oddest group Zoom call I have ever.
And no one else saw it?
No one else
or said anything, I guess. Maybe they were too embarrassed.
Want to come say hi?
Do we have an Alice side?
You don't have to. Okay.
Well,
the kiddo is awake.
Okay.
She's been doing a great job this week of getting up at 8 a.m., having some breakfast, trying to start her day early, so that way she gets her day ended early.
Yes.
That way she can play more Minecraft.
Fair.
With the proper motivation, anything is possible.
Absolutely. That's right. So now Michelle and I both have said hi to Alice.
Oh, okay.
There we go. Just let her know
she's not a fan of the camera anymore like she used to be, and that's totally fine.
Yeah.
It's funny watching the stream last night with my friend Kevin, who's got a couple of daughters who were I don't know, I think 3 and 2 maybe, somewhere around there, like toddlers, and they're so lovey and like all over him and everything. And I was like, oh, I miss that.
Yeah,
I miss that. Because now mine is just kind of like, hey, Dad.
Yep.
Just like that same tonality and everything. Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
So
you hear about it until it happens. You're like, oh no.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, I'm not going to be like that. And then,
like, I don't have that problem. I have great kids who love me all the time until they don't.
Exactly. Yeah. There's still a version of it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Hi.
There she is.
All right. Go do your breakfast. Love you.
Yay. See?
A rare Alice sighting.
That's right. And affection too.
And affection. Yes.
That's good. It's because you let her play Minecraft yesterday.
Oh man. All right.
Well, that's a fascinating day. I'm a big like subject jump. I grew up a DC guy, not a Marvel guy.
Yes.
And Marvel is cool and fine. I like Thor, Captain America, and like I like some of that stuff growing up. But I really was like a Superman, Batman guy growing up.
Okay.
And so now like the big crescendo of the whole Snyder Cut thing is getting ready to happen.
I don't get it, but
yeah,
I'm seeing it. I just don't get it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just an undercurrent of crazy fans who want DC to be as good as Marvel, and this is their best hope of something else, trying to live up to it. So, but what's interesting, what triggered my thought process was there is a group doing a watching party, and where they're gonna simulcast it or stream it live, right, on HBO Max, but they're gonna do it via a platform. I forget what it's called. It's like something like a Discord or something, right? But what's his name? Totally blanking. The director, Snyder.
Zack Snyder.
Zack Snyder will be on the call the whole time. He'll be on the platform talking and answering questions, and there'll be live chat during the whole stream. And then after there'll be a live Q&A. Of course, they're going to curate those questions and stuff like that. Yeah. But I thought it was pretty cool. It's another way that streaming was, or I'm sorry, that like that kind of interactive online stuff of doing everyday activities like you last night, watching a concert with people. Yeah. We're going to watch a movie and talk about something that's kind of,
And I love that so much is moving to make it easier to do what you want, right? Like with like things like Patreon, you can, if you have a skill and there's an artistic flair to it, and you can go find that community and you can have something of value to give them. There's a way for you guys to find each other. You get paid for the effort that you're putting into it, and they get something out of it as well. We're part of a Patreon fan club for this band that we really like called Record Heat. And, they send a birthday message for the kiddo and stuff like that. And like, it's just nice little bitty things. I love that there's so much of this, but on the other hand of it, there's so many of it. There's Patreon, there's 15 of those things, you know, and then it's so fragmented that I think that it has a potential to like really kind of hold it back from gaining traction like it could be. So I don't know, just interesting.
Yeah. So one of the things that James does as a perk, of course, is how we do that, perks, as being an employee, is that there's a platform that allows you to get messages, ringtones, voicemails from celebrities.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, Cameo.
Yeah, Cameo. You when you earn a certain amount of points through like different participation things you do at work, you can like get a Cameo for yourself, your kid, or whatever like that. So, like you said, there's some really cool things, right, that are available. So you can get a message from a celebrity just by being a good employee. You know, it's like
so on there. You can have Snoop Dogg record a message for you, and it's like $1,000, right? You know, it's fairly expensive. But can you imagine if I have like a little like GIF or like message of Snoop Dogg just being like, "You're not gonna finish talking to my man Small Mountain," and use that as my follow-up piece, right? So like it's like if somebody ghosts me, hey man, it's talking with my buddy. He wanted to send you a message. Just drop it in there. Oh man, my show rate.
Yeah, you might have just talked yourself into that.
This has been on the wish list for This has been on the wish list for a while, but I'm like I can't because the guy from 311, Nick, is on there as well. So he'll record you a message and send you all this stuff. So I was just out there looking around, and then I was like, "Oh, Snoop Dogg, Snoop Dogg, right?" Like you need somebody who is big enough that everybody knows, but also get a conversation going again if you're going to use it for a piece of follow up.
Agreed. You know? Agreed. So. It's the guy that earned the most money last year on that platform is Kevin from The Office. He earned 7 figures last year on that.
7 figures on Cameo? That's amazing.
But he has a very different voice, you know, and character was beloved. So
yeah, I mean that chili opening where he just spills it all over the thing. Every time I lose it.
Yes. There's just there's so much greatness about that show. I could go for days.
How's the writing?
It's good. I actually made some good headway yesterday. I was very happy with.
So 16 minutes?
Yeah, 17 and a half. So
I love you, man.
No, it was good. It made some good progress. After we were talking with my dad, and we got off the air, you and I, we were talking about it was Ryan Dice and Perry Belchers who we went and saw. About writing an Amazon book, and they gave like a framework that basically where you could write a book in less than 30 days. And we were kind of just talking through some of those pieces again. And so some of their strategies came back up that I just hadn't thought about. And so it helped me like put pieces of content back into my brain in small chunks so I could just kind of get it out, you know? So that's our discussion helped me yesterday too.
Yeah. That's super cool.
Yeah.
So Ryan Dice from Digital Marketer? Was it like just like a evergreen webinar kind of deal?
No, it was in person. It was an event, and they were doing like at the time. So gosh, this was 10, 12 years ago. Yeah, like this is back when Amazon, like writing Amazon books to become an influencer was like in its like ascent.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
So Dice, was the first to everything, or he used to be, when it comes to that online stuff. And so, he had him and Perry Belcher, and there was one other person too. There's 3 of them. I forget who it was, but no, they taught it was a full day, right? Basically, it was like an 8-hour. Yeah, it was an 8-hour day, and you showed them in person, and they had curriculum, and they had 3 different speakers, and they did you left with a framework to use for your book. So it was kind of like interactive, but they were teaching. You had access to the community, so you guys could promote each other's books once you were done and get reviews quickly and easily. And it was just a little spin-up thing like he does,
Interesting.
So it was neat. It was good training. I ended up using it at the agency I was at the time. I ended up writing ghostwriting 3 books for clients with that specific like framework.
Dang.
Worked really well.
So do we just need to get you to think about like you're writing a ghost book or ghostwriting your own book?
I thought about that. Yeah, I thought about that. Like, I guess I gotta ghostwrite my own book.
Yeah. This is not my book. This is not my book.
Where's the whiteboard? Let's write it.
Oh man. Well, cool, man. I'm glad you got some progress on that. How do you know? Are you working from an outline?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. How much more do you think you have to write to fulfill the scope of the outline?
Words? I don't know how long the book's going to be yet. I would say that I am 40% to a draft to hand off to somebody.
Nice, very nice. Cool,
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
So when? Ooh.
Yes.
When do you want to hand that draft off to somebody?
I was trying to back into it because June 1st was the launch date I was going for, which means I really need probably into April to have it ready at the latest, so that people can look at it.
Hold on. So you haven't written this thing yet, and you think it's going to be ready to go all the way done by June 1st?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I'm going to use the framework I have now in it. I wrote books in 2 weeks with this framework in the past, so it is all head trash at this point.
No, I know that's what I'm trying to like help you see, that maybe this June 1st date.
Oh, too long?
No.
Too short?
Like too short.
Well, okay, so let's talk about the balance of that, right?
Okay.
Deadlines make deals happen.
Yes, they do.
Okay. And if we put deadlines that are too far out, we basically just sit until we get close to the deadline.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see, it's March 12th, April, May, June. I mean, that's still 2.5 months away. So like if I were to put it out further, history tells me I would just sit until I get closer to the deadline.
I don't disagree with that statement, but right, you're kind of, you remember those drawing books whenever we were kids, right? And they say start with the circles, mm-hmm. and then like it'd be like 1, 2, and then 3 would be like a completely done like amazing sketch of an animal, and it wouldn't show how to do that.
Right.
I feel like that's how you're talking about this book right now, right? You're like drawing the circles, but June 1st, this thing is going to be ready to go.
Right.
But you have no concerns. I love this. I'm genuinely impressed, honestly, right? Because
I work really well against deadlines. When I actually keep deadlines, I work against them really well.
I'm just short of a year on mine, right? Because like I was doing mine like last summer. What was it when I was writing it? Now?
Yeah. Well, I think probably some of the confidence is we actually like churned out a book in 30 days or less with artwork and editing and the story. And this is 150-page book, something like that. And so I've done it before. And so I know it's possible. I already know the steps, I guess, that I'm going to take to get to that complete drawing in the kid's book. I'm not going blindly per se.
So what's different between the other times and this time that you need to work on?
Just myself.
Okay, and how can I help with that?
Well, as you're talking about it, I just need to write down the more specific steps between now and June 1st, because I need to have the draft done to go to editing date down. Yeah. That written down, and I have the launch date down, but I don't have any of the other stuff written down yet. So
what do you think that should look like?
Well, I need probably 3 other steps in there with deadlines on them, at least 3. But I need artwork created. I need a second draft completed by. I need things like that. Mm-hmm. I have written down in my big book plan, like do this. I don't have them mapped to the calendar yet. I just have like the big milestones.
Okay. So what are you worried about?
Nothing.
Anything? Okay.
Yeah, it was more the why am I not writing? I wasn't worried about the steps themselves.
But this timeline doesn't work if you don't sit down to do the writing.
Mm-hmm. True.
Okay.
Exactly. So I got to sit down and write, huh?
Okay. Yes. How was that for a coaching / accountability conversation? Do you like that, Mr. Jordan? We got some clarity there, sir, I think.
Oh, yeah? The timer. He'll set the timer, he said.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So that's where we're at. That's what we've been talking about. We know where it's at. We got to write. You got to read. I got to write.
Yes, absolutely. I didn't realize you had this crazy launch plan behind this thing. That like I'm not going to bet against you because you're my Bill, but like I don't think you're going to hit June 1st on me. Like I like, and I'm kind of putting that out there as a challenge, right? Because like I would love to see you. I would love to see you hit this like June 1st date. Good morning, Levi.
Yep.
I would love to see you hit this date, and I want to help you as much as possible. But man, I'm here to help if you want it. So
okay. Well, I'll take you up on it then, because what I'll do is make sure, and I have a draft available, and you can help me figure out the best way to find people to read it because you've been through it now.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
you can absolutely do that.
Because I got to do that.
All right, man. So, gauntlet thrown, gauntlet politely tossed, maybe.
Okay.
Gauntlet handheld, walked over on a satin pillow and said, "Here, if you like this, it's here."
No, that's not a gauntlet then. That's more like a breakfast. Like here.
Yeah. Yes. Levi is asking the question that everybody else is asking, right? How many books have you written? You can seem so relaxed about such a tight deadline.
Well, that's all expectation. Like that's not a tight deadline to me. That's partially why I'm not relaxed about it, because 2.5 months to something that I've done before in 30 days or less does not feel tight to me. So that's the difference. My view of it is not panic yet, because I've got plenty of time, and so I need to do the work so that I don't get into that situation.
I love it. I want it to work.
Well, this is what's funny. This is all we talk about in sales all the time. This is framing. This does not bother me because it's not in an area yet that is uncomfortable for me.
So
that's why I could have only written 1 and be this comfortable, or 10. The frame is the difference, right? Putting forward new voting restrictions if you miss the deadline. New voting restrictions.
He says that if you don't hit the deadline of June 1st, you have to send $500 to the people who are putting forward new voting restrictions.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because we have to put money behind things we don't support. Yes. How do you know I don't support that, Levi?
I don't even know what these restrictions are, but your tonality was enough. So
yes, exactly.
Man,
I have a lot more writing on this than $500, Levi. So that would not motivate me any more than I already am, to be honest.
Levi, side note for later. See how hard he's avoiding all of this stuff? You see how he's just kind of like ducking and diving some of the accountability stuff? We'll talk about this more later, Levi, offline. Sorry. Sidebar.
So is this where the poker comes in and I come back over and bet 1,000 to call my bluff? Is that how this works?
I would not do that if I was
you. I'm to buy the pot now.
Man, as a guy who has tried to buy mini pots and has failed many times, I don't know that you're buying your way out of this one. Okay. I had plenty of time.
Okay, Levi. What if the statement is actually true though? It's still procrastinating if there's actually still a lot of time, or is that just something snarky people say?
Okay, hold on. Right for people who were watching, This is the moment where Jake turns into super competitive Jake.
That's it. And here's what I found, right? Is Levi seems to be around when this happens a lot.
Yeah, because he's just like, Well,
right? he's an instigator.
That very, very true. So for LinkedIn people, one day we were playing disc golf. Levi throws a shot. and it's a fairly good shot. And then Jake gets up there and rips it just a little bit further, right? And Levi was a little confident about his throw, and he was like, yeah, that was a pretty good throw. Look at that thing go, or something along those lines. And then Jake gets up there, rips his, and goes a little bit further, and he goes like that. And then he was like, "Oh, sorry guys, Sports Jake is here." And just right now, he was like, "Okay, Levi," and I'm like, "Here we go,
Sports Jake." That's right.
Sports Jake.
That's right. And don't get in Sports Jake's way, because
he's gonna write 6 books before June 1st.
I'll tell you, watch this. It's a
hold my beer.
Yeah, you just see, Levi, you may have actually just solved the entire problem for me. Like I may have this book written by the weekend. All it took was the right motivation.
The urgency is now there. The fires have been stoked.
That's right.
Oh man.
That's right.
Mr. Jordan, I'm sorry, you're probably not going to see your son for the rest of the day because he's just going to be in a room cranking out a book.
Yes, exactly.
Oh man,
that's right. This is what I look like at a low roar. Yeah, doing my part to Sports Jake.
Yes.
I guess
part of being a good accountability partner is having the right tools. I'm like, oh, we got to get Jake over like a hill. Let me get Levi involved.
Yeah. Good coaches know they don't know it all. They bring out the tool bag.
Yeah.
That's right.
Oh man, that was funny. Dude. You got a little worked up there. I like it.
Yeah. I guess I need to do more of this. I might get more done.
Oh man, my cheeks hurt. That was funny. So funny.
Yeah. Man. So Levi, I guess later in the day I need to tag you with like a stack of papers I've written, right? Like
I'm already thinking of all the ways that the GIF could happen that's not pages stacking. That would just be epically hilarious, right? It's just like a stack of discs just moving up and down.
Yes, exactly. Speaking of social, I tagged you last night on Instagram. I'm not sure if you saw it.
I did. I was just about to comment that you guys were out there hanging out. If I had known that s'mores were part of like ranch stuff, I would be a lot more enthusiastic about ranch stuff. Like I think about ranch stuff, and I think about W with like the white T-shirt on with the leather gloves out there clearing brush and stuff. Like that's not my idea of a good time, but I can get behind some s'mores for sure.
Well, I mean that happened to get the firewood. To
I don't want to be there for that.
Yeah.
I need strong Wi-Fi while that part is going on, and then I can just come out for the other thing. I'm doing something productive, like just trust in that. But like I'm more of like a strong Wi-Fi kind of productivity guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So glamping is not even in your area.
No, I all joking aside, I do enjoy camping and stuff.
Okay.
I just ranch stuff does not denote s'mores to me.
Yeah. Okay. I got you.
So.
That makes sense. It does here.
I apparently have been thinking about the wrong ranches my entire life.
Yeah, there's some over on the counter, actually, some extra made.
Yes, because add on to that, the parents, once they hit grandparents, the wheels are off.
Yeah.
Like, my mom will come over here and like she'll talk to Alice and she's like, there's no rules at my house, right?
Yeah.
Like, there was lots of rules when I was in your house. She's like, oh, those don't exist anymore. And so every time she comes over, she brings a little bag of candy for, the kiddo. And the whole time she's just like, there's more of this at my house. And I'm like, you're doing the thing that we tell her to not be okay with from anybody else. Like, hey, you want to come hang out with me for some candy? I'm like, would you stop? Like, just make a full ask. We'll come over, hang out. Good Lord.
Yeah.
So, man, but she's always like, anything you want, just come over. Anything you want. And I'm like, wow, okay.
Breakfast s'mores, that's the next level, right? Branching. That is true. We go hard here. We go sports fire here. All right.
Sports fire. Oh man.
The kitchen too.
All right. So can we talk about this email that I got from your buddy on here?
Let's keep it generic for sure. Let's do that.
Okay, so I got a referral ask
Okay.
from Mr. James. I think there are ways to improve the referral, the results of the referral ask.
Yes.
Right. So,
and I asked for that feedback, by the way.
You did. So first thing,
what should we do better?
Well,
because I wrote a
different
one, by the way, that I'm going to send to you as well today. Because I want you to see the version I did and the version he did.
Okay, so now that email to me proves that he's a D.
Oh yeah.
Right? He's like, hey, super glad that you hang out with Jake. Super glad to know you. Do you know anyone I should be talking to?
Yes.
And I'm like,
yep.
Right. I get it. Fast moving, task oriented. This is an open loop. Like let's just knock this thing down. But realistically, over a broad span,
right,
you're not going to get great results with that kind of ask.
So that's why I wanted to get your feedback on this, because obviously you don't necessarily know the disc profile of the person you're sending the ask to. If you study this stuff, you might have a clue. Is there a center spot in the middle where you can kind of try and touch some of the different spots, or like maybe it's the wrong approach? You know, there's one approach that works with everyone pretty well.
So real quick, we are building out a tool to have in my stuff that the very first thing you do is you take the free assessment that resolves into one of us on Sales Throwdown. And what that does is we can then just customize the marketing, right? Because D's want short and punchy. C's want all the details. I's want stories. And S's really...
Wow.
Sorry.
Strong build up.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. So once you essentially just tell us like who you are, we can then send you information about who you are, and then we can also customize that so that way it's like written in ways that you'll actually want to read it, right? Because if you're a short form person, you don't want long form content at all. If you're me, you want all those details, and these bullet points are not going to be enough. So we'll be able to like help you out, send you related information, but do it in a format that like makes sense for your personality type.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. So I'm super excited.
To be clear, like you are creating that type of content for your own people that take the test to send to them to sell them on something, correct?
Exactly. So the first step in working with me is always an assessment. I need to know who you are, and we need a way to be able to talk about like critical elements in a way that you're not going to take personal. And this assessment is like one of the best ways to do that, because once we have the framework about talking about conflict, relationships, selling, and all these other things, when I say, hey, you don't want to step in here and plant your feet and like ask the really hard question because you're concerned about your likability quotient. That's your I. You know, Levi and I always talk about his likability quotient, right? And he needs to keep it up here, and he'll sometimes abandon the process, not ask the hard question because he's trying to keep it up here. Sorry, Levi, if that's not open information. But like that's how all eyes are, right? They might not call it a likability quotient, but like this is a thing that they're feeling. So going through the assessment allows me to say, this is just one aspect of you. Right, you have all these other aspects of you as well, and it makes it easier to receive critical feedback if you're not used to it. Because I'm no longer like challenging you. Oh, Jake, you don't like conflict. Part of you doesn't like conflict. We can work on it, but it's going to take some practice. You got to get comfortable being uncomfortable. Things like this. Here's what this means in a sales role. You view follow up as confrontation, so you don't really want to do it. You're great in the moment, but here's where this is, kind of laying you down the wrong way. So goal is that when you take the assessment, thank you, Levi, when you take the assessment and you figure out who you are, there will be other things along the way, but we also will pass out additional information. We want to give you that information in a way that you're going to actually read and take in.
Right. Yeah, I love it. And sidebar here, right? So you're a C, you're heavy on the C, and that means conscientious or compliance kind of comes into that, right? Like the whole picture, you want people to typically look at the whole picture so that they make better decisions.
Yes.
And so you do that a lot. And so just earlier when you were talking about not getting the blurb that you wanted, I can see in your personality, you don't feel like, maybe tell me if I'm wrong, like you don't feel like they looked at the whole picture, and so that you were let down possibly by the fact that they didn't.
Exactly, right. So I firmly believe that all of these people who are building communities now, I think of this as like, this is going to be the new thing in about 3 years. Like it'll be really popular in about 3 years, right? Slack communities, Discord communities, right? And it started with Facebook groups, I think, right?
Yeah.
But like that's really kind of like pushed this whole thing forward. And so now everybody who has something to say and has people that they work with who will listen to them is going to have some version of this. And the thing that makes me mad is the level, not even mad, but just frustrated, is if you're not showing up in that audience in a meaningful way,
right,
then eventually these people will go network in other communities and find other connections. And it's just a matter of time before the audience shifts. And here's the deal. Here's the really important thing. That's not terrible, right? Because at the end of the day, eventually, if you're that kind of person and you're not finding what you need, you'll keep, kind of going around until you do find the right kind of like community and network to be in and stuff. And that's great. So I don't like it, but that's a personal view.
Right.
It eventually, anybody in there who doesn't like how they're running their community leaves, and it's just a group of people who like it. So it kind of does it itself.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
yeah,
niching.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Makes sense. Okay, so you've got the software that's helping you kind of work into this, right? After they get the disk, and you're building in people taking the disk, and then now you know how to deliver information to them moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and what was the finish of that story?
Well, I'm just excited that we're going to be able to kind of split that out, so that way, because like if you're a D, you're not going to read my normal type of email because it's very long, very detailed. There's paragraphs involved. I mean, you've seen them. They're very deep. So, but when I can force myself to like, okay, cool, I need to write these for a D. Boom, 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 boom. Right? Okay, if I need to write these for an I. Okay, lots of story, lots of anecdotes, lots of wee stuff. Okay, blah 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 blah. I can do that, and so I think it'll be easier because then I can just come up with like the idea of like what I want to like write about. Mm-hmm. And kind of come up with like the base version of it, and then rewrite it DISC. Cool. And the next one comes up, write it out, and then DIS and C. Levi, sir, go get it. Yeah. Qualify thoroughly. The harder you qualify, the easier it is to close, sir. Go get it.
That's right. Cool. Okay, so James's email. That's what we were talking about.
James's email, yes. So
So what's the middle ground? That's where I'm trying to get to for this. What's a good middle ground approach for everybody, depending, because this can be helpful for anybody, right? It doesn't matter what your personality type is. What do you think is a great way to approach a referral email when you don't know what the other side is?
So let me ask this question: is this automated? This email that I got?
Yeah.
Okay. So this was just like an honest, like open loop send kind of deal. Okay, cool.
We're trying to make it like where we can do it once a month, twice a month, go through cycles of people in our circle of people. Mm-hmm. So real contacts that we can just remind people, hey, we're here.
You know what I would do? What I would do? I would turn that into a video message ask.
Yeah.
Because like James is like great on camera.
Yeah.
And just like have him with his glorious beard and his glorious ginger face, right? And he's there, and he's in the camera,
and belt shirts.
Yeah, and he's got the empathy all the way turned up, like he does, like that he cares. Just put him on a video because his D-ness gets in the way of like the written word, right? So if he's in there, like, thanks for coming on the show. Super glad to have you there. We learned a lot about you. Mm-hmm. This is all boilerplate at this point. Yeah. We'd love to kind of follow up or see if you know anybody else. Mm-hmm. Could we have a quick call, see if there's anyone else who you think could be a good guest for the show or potentially need some of our help?
Yeah.
Do that in video. That's good. Yeah. That's legit. I would right? Because like the other thing is my relationship with you is much more in depth than him, than mine is directly with him. So
sure.
I'm also kind of like, why would I not just refer Jake? Like, and so then I kind of have this moment of like not really sure who I'm referring to, almost, you know. Anyway.
Yeah. That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. Yep. So okay, so the video is a great idea. I love that. What would you say if, to mix it up, right? Maybe you would shoot new videos all the time. There are some text ones that you work in there. What is there a particular way you would frame that ask that matches the way that you do sales calls? You know, like is there something that in your head, or do you? Yeah. This is like a natural thing for you, and you just knock it out, or is this something you can teach someone? You know, like, well, start here and do this, and then make the ask. You know.
So when we think about like attention spans, and most people call this captivity. Like I don't like it. I don't like to call it captivity because like I think that denotes kind of a negative term, but they're captive, right? They're captivated. They're in the moment with you. Yes. Exactly. So when you send it as an email, there's no captivation at all, right? Like think about the speed that most people are just going through their emails, right? Oh nope, up archive, up delete, right? So first, like it's a very noisy environment. You're not going to get great results anyway. You guys are awesome on the call, so why not do it on a call, right? I want you to come on and do something for me, and I need to give you some clarity about like who that person really is for the best results. That's going to happen best on a phone call or a video call or something like this. Jake, super glad that I got to spend some time with you the other day. You know, we talked about this and this and this. Because this should also just be part of like your funnel sales process anyway, right? Hey, you brought this up on the podcast. Do you need any additional help with that? What do you think is keeping you from moving forward on that? Blah blah blah. Okay, if none of that lines up and there's no further discussion, okay, great. You know, do you happen to know anybody else who would be a good candidate for the show, or maybe someone that we should just reach out to because there's an opportunity to work together?
Yeah, well, we're trying to work that in all the call stuff, but like I'm trying to think of like, for example, like somebody I haven't had on the show but I've known for 4 years, and they've called me for help on something, and so you know I have a good warm relationship with them, right? And so I'm like, okay, it's time to ask for some referrals for this week. It's my day to go out and ask a group of people. I can shoot a video, absolutely, best case scenario. But let's say I shot a video and got a cool email back that said, hey, I really love this. This is awesome. I'll see who I can think of. Now it's time to follow up again.
No.
Right? Text.
No. Not? Why are we drawing this out into this, like, we're going to create a video that goes into an email. We're going to send this over. And they say, this sounds great. Let me think of some people. And now we have another step. Like, let's just have a call.
Because people don't remember things. People are too distracted. There's too much going on in the world. You have to remind people of the conversation.
So you don't have to do that when it's live in this conversation. When we introduce email, because of the noisy environment in a different context, it's super easy for that to get lost in the weeds.
Yeah, but for example, myself, I might not be able to think of anything today, John. I may want to give you a referral. I just can't think of anybody. And then 2 days later, I might think of somebody for you. But I'm not going to, I'm trying to do the 80-20 thing. Absolutely.
I understand.
On the call, absolutely.
The 80-20 approach to that is they say, yeah, let me think of somebody, and they never get back to you. That's the 80%. The 20% mean well and still like a large majority. Dude, like all I do all day is go hunt for referrals and do introductions for myself and for like all my clients. Like this is all I do. And if I don't get them onto a phone call, success rates go in the toilet. If it's over an email.
But what I'm saying is if you know that those people are a good fit as a referral source and they've offered it up, you don't think it makes sense to automate something just to remind them? Because that takes no effort once you've written it. And it's just a reminder. And we all know you need reminders.
I think that totally depends upon the nudge, but this might be just like a personal philosophy thing, but like I don't love the idea that I'm going to turn on a nurturing sequence to remind you to do the nice thing that you said you were going to do for me.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, let's just do it.
Yeah.
Like we're about to put out this LinkedIn guide that's like how I use LinkedIn to network and get referrals and everything. And in there, like I talk endlessly about reduce the friction, right? You get like you marketer guys are all about like reducing friction for like lead flow. I'm talking about like reducing friction like throughout the entire process. So Jake, I would love to hop on a call, look through like introductions together, see if there's some introductions that might be shared. Do you think that makes sense? Okay, yes, great. I'm going to give you a template about how I would like to be introduced because I'm trying to make it so easy for you to do this. And I know that people get sidetracked.
Absolutely.
So you're now talking about we're going to send an email that's going to have a lower return rate than if you ask for a call, right? Mm-hmm. So there's already a divergence here, and we're going to take the easy way versus the high converting way. Right. Because if you ask for a call, you're going to have a higher take rate than people who will say, "Oh, yeah, this just makes sense." So we're already putting ourselves in like a lower performance environment,
sure.
Right? And then we're going to make an ask that is probably not specific enough, potentially, right? Because the other thing is that by making a very detailed referral ask, our probability goes up, but it's harder to deliver that very detailed ask over an email. Let me tell you who we're looking for. Yada 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 yada. Right? So. Once again, we're putting ourselves into a lower environment than if we just have the call, right? And so now we're also stretching this whole process out because they're going to respond with, "Oh yeah, let me think about it," and now we have to hope that they actually do think about it and actually do get back to us, right? So by this point, we've whittled down percentages that you're going to have to be sending thousands of these emails a day to get any kind of traction, and I know you're not doing that because like this is on the backside of your podcast funnel, right?
No, that's what I'm saying. We do that with the backside of our podcast funnel. Exactly the thing you're talking about. That is our model. I'm talking about all the rest of the people who have not been on our podcast, who are warm people in our network that we're trying to gain referrals from also.
I think you're going to get a lot of exactly what I did. Okay, cool. Because cool.
Well, I think the video is helpful though, because I think the video would warm up a possibility. Yes, to get it on a call. But the other thing you're competing against is most people don't have time, don't think they have time, don't want to take the time to, let's get on a call and exchange some referrals today.
All right. So let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Hold on. Do you think, honestly, that the people who don't have time to hop on a Zoom call to like look for some referrals for you are going to give you referrals left to their own devices?
I'm that person, John. I'm speaking to me. I'm the person that doesn't want to go sit for 20 minutes on a call twice a week with a friend who's asking me for referrals. But if I'm working along and think of somebody and I've gotten an email or something to remind me that they're there, oh yes, that needs to be a connection that I need to make. I would love to help them, and now thank you for reminding me. I'm that person. That's a lot of times how I do it. But just because my workflow is, I'm not interested in hopping on calls that aren't leading somewhere. Unless I choose it, right? I'll choose conversations for.
Okay. Right? Here's the big difference.
Mm-hmm.
This is a regular prospecting activity for me, is networking, right? Yeah. Like I do it each and every week, right? Pretty much everyone I talk to, hey, do you know anyone else I should be talking to? Because A, I like to talk to people who are doing really cool stuff.
Right.
B, because of what I do, there's a pretty wide application for it. Like I know the people that I can help the most, but and C, I'm just always looking to like know other cool people, right? So I'm constantly on this hunt for like other cool networking partners and stuff like that. And so the difference is there's a difference between networking because you want something and networking as a habit. I think that's like the big difference.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. I just know myself, and I know that I am a personality type that we will come across. And so, I was trying to find a way to solve an issue that people have done well with me. I'm like, hey, blah, 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 if you can think of anything. I don't ever expect that email to get a referral back most of the time. I'm thinking more, will it stick out when it comes time when they've done something and go, I need to refer somebody to Jake. And it's because of that email, they think that. It's just a touch point. It's just
So this is in my view, a pretty clear example of the difference between like sales mindset